Space Imperies, Part 6. Mars, the promise of a new beginning, is bleeding out in its struggle for economic independence. The underground tunnels rejoice with the echo of the Martian footsteps, as death swarms in every shadow. Diplomacy is mixed with the fate of a bloody Mars, and peace is the thread of a knife. And in the midst of all this, corruption is spreading like a plague. The pockets are filled with bribery, files are erased, and dirty treatments are sealed to closed doors. Who can trust who among so many enemies? The Aquila leaves the orbit of Mars, moving away toward the asteroid belt because it is now a rebellious ship and its crew have become refugees from corrupt justice, facing an uncertain destiny between rocks and empty space. In the darkness of the asteroid belt, the spacecraft slips like a ghost. The lights blink, and the systems crumble under pressure. The leaders of the rebellion gather in a command room at Ceres, the largest of the mining asteroids, their gazes loaded with determination and mistrust. What's next? How can they escape the grip of corruption? Serafina, with her heart divided, faces an impossible choice. Will she leave her past behind and join the rebellious cause seeking redemption in the midst of betrayal and chaos? Asteroids rotate in the belt, as witnesses to the struggle for freedom. Each rock is a world in itself, with its secrets and dangers. The Aquila enters this maze of uncertainty, with its engines rowing like hungry beasts. On Earth, corrupt justice continues to chase the fugitives. The files are altered and copied, the evidence is hidden or broken, and the enemies multiply. Who can trust who? What dark designs are woven in the high spheres of power? And the rebel ship is looking for its way to the asteroids. The Earth that had arranged military exercises in an orbit close to the Moon, and after demonstrations of force, deployed troops on the surface, quickly taking control and instituting a fierce doll government. The military maneuvers were just a facade, a smoke curtain to hide their true intentions. After the demonstrations of force, troops land on the lunar surface, and control changes hands. The invisible threads of government stretch from Earth to the Moon, and the puppet leaders dance to the sound of orders received. Oppression covers the lunar colony, and freedom fades away like a distant dream. Citizens, once free, are now prisoners in their own world. The voices are silenced, and fearful gazes cross the deserted streets. Resistance whispers in the shadows, but repression is fierce. Who will dare to challenge the monkey who rules from a distance? In the corridors of the lunar capital, ground soldiers patrol with loaded weapons. The files are adulterated or deleted, the communications are intercepted, and the truth is hidden under layers of lies in the public news. What's woven in the Earth's offices? What interests move the threads? And the stars watch. Serafina, change your destiny. Resistance becomes their refuge. A place where silent voices rise like a cry of hope against oppression. In the tunnels of Mars mines, Serafina meets with other rebels. Their determined gazes cross, and their hands shrink in a silent covenant. Truth is a dangerous weapon, and resistance holds it firmly. Earth's interests are a maze of intrigues. Personal and state tyrannies are intertwined with the best-selling democracies. Private holdings, like spiders in their spiders, weave their influence in the most luxurious places. The outer habitats, far from the Earth, suffer the same third-worldism that attenues most terrestrial unconscious. Serafina joins the fight with her sharp mind like an ancestral sword. The artifact you keep could be the key to liberation or destruction. What secrets will he reveal? What decisions will he make in the midst of betrayal and chaos? The Aquila, now a rebel ship, is moving away from Mars' orbit. Their engines suck like hungry whales toward asteroids that seem silent. Politics becomes a game that can change the fate of millions. Serafina becomes a symbol of resistance. Hope blooms in the hearts of the rebels, and the struggle continues. The Eagle approaches Ceres, her silhouette cut against the dark background of space. The real news of his illegal intervention in the Battle of Olympus Mons has reached the ears of the inhabitants of Ceres. A dissident, courageous, and determined landlord used a point laser transmitter to tell the truth through the vast void. The Eagle crew is welcomed with a mixture of amazement and hope. The tired eyes of the inhabitants of Ceres rise toward the sky, looking for answers in the stars. What does this mean? Who are the real enemies? The streets of the colony are filled with whispers and unanswered questions. In the hallways of the Aquila, the faces of the crew reflect tension. Interplanetary politics becomes a deadly game, and every move can change the fate of the worlds. And the rebellious banner unfolds, and hearts argue between betrayal and hope. The rebel coalition has become a mosaic of disparate interests: pirates, thieves, fugitives, asteroid miners, and local mafia. Among its ranks are also those who fight for true freedom and justice. Together, they face the pressure coming from Earth. Pressure that threatens to stifle their aspirations and rights. The pirates, with their fast ships and their codes of honor twisted, mixed with asteroid miners, whose hands are marked by dust and hard work. Local mafias, like spiders in their nets, weave and negotiate in the shadows. And among all of them, the fugitives seek redemption or revenge, their dark pasts chasing them like disturbing shadows. Honesty also has its place in this coalition. Those who refuse to bow to corruption and oppression, who raise their voices against the monkeys of the earth. They are the pillars of resistance. Their eyes are filled with determination, and their hearts are beating at the rhythm of freedom. But oppression is on them. The earth, with its interests and its machinery of power, will not stop. The invisible threads extend from the orbit to the eagle's corridors. And the struggle intensifies. Who will prevail? What will be needed to keep the flame of freedom burning? Between the orbits, the coalition is preparing for the confrontation. The decisions taken will now resonate throughout the entire solar system. Will your courage be enough? Will they be able to protect their interests and their dignity against oppression? The situation was critical. The combined energy resources of the asteroid and Mars rebels were not sufficient to confront the terrestrial forces with their ships and weapons powered by helium-3 reactors. The weather was squeezing. There were only a few days before the Earth's pressure became unbearable. Dr. Troloff and Mental plunged into theories and equations. The data provided by Seraphin became the key to finding a viable solution. And so, at the heart of the resistance, a bold hypothesis was raised: could the artifact have zero-point energy transduction functions? The zero point, also known as the quantum vacuum, is a state of minimum possible energy. If they could take advantage of it, they could change the course of the war. But how? What secrets did the artifact keep? And how could they unlock their potential? The equations were multiplied on the holographic screens. The brilliant minds of the resistance were summed up in calculations and simulations. The energy of the vacuum, dark matter, virtual particles. Everything was intertwined in mathematics. Serafina, with her load of secrets, observed from a distance. The artifact in their hands could be the key to everyone's survival. What decisions would you make in the middle of this race against time? Hope and science were intertwined. Asteroids, ships, and hearts are beating at the pace of a universal equation. Could they find the answer before the Earth crushed their dreams of freedom? The Aquila is launched again towards Mars, its course marked by the urgency of searching for the artefacto. In the insides of the ship, the crew gathers to draw bold plans. They cannot replicate the artifact with standard printers. Its complexity and intimate secrets require careful analysis. The corridors are back in tension. Serafina, with her charge, is in the epic entree. The artifact in his hands could change everyone's fate. What decisions will you make in the middle of the race against time? The Aquila cuts the space, its speed as an accelerated beat. Mars rises before them, its surface marked by history and struggle. Resistance leaders gather in the room in the depths. The tension in space is palpable. Serafina and Tex-Mex, with the artefacto in their power, are trapped in an orbital tourist launcher. The exorbitant rent paid to a subsidiary of the Malachi Holding Company has not been enough to guarantee a safe escape. The escape speed does not develop, and the middle orbit keeps them in an uncertain limbo. Phobos and Deimos, the two Martian satellites, revolve around it like silent stones, loaded with antennas, radars, cameras, and detectors. The radiant three suns, an optical illusion caused by light scattered in the Martian atmosphere, seem to observe the situation with curiosity. The Aquila, the rebellious spacecraft, is approaching. Captain Jax Rylan, bold and determined, takes the risk of sinking the ship into the Martian atmosphere to reach the launchers. Multiple cameras, detectors, and radars capture every movement. The bet is in progress, Will they succeed in rescuing Serafina and Tex-Mex? Or will they fall by the interception devices heading towards them? Death toys are deployed in space. Interceptor drones, like mechanical prey birds, are torn into pieces under the preventive fire of Mental. The spark shines in the vacuum, and the Aquila is forged in an act of courage. The shuttle, rolling like a space drunkard, enters one of the loading exclusions. The Aquila, with its rotting engines, is precisely aligned. The metal crumbles, and the crew's hearts tickle at the rhythm of danger.